everyone, welcome to my video on mastering Sova on Haven, a two-part arrow guide of common arrows I have learned from others. I created myself to give myself a competitive advantage on the map Haven as Sova. I know there are plenty of guides out already. My goal and hope is that you'll find at least one arrow that is new and useful that you'll hopefully incorporate into your play. The layout of this video will focus on arrows of each site, covering both defensive and offensive arrows per site before moving on to the next site. This way, when you practice yourself, you can practice all the arrows in one area of the map. Part 1 of the series will cover sites C and B, while part 2 will cover site A. Alright, to start off with some defensive arrows for C long. There's 3 arrows I would typically do that I switch it up between once every while. And the first one is pretty generic. I'm going to use my charge bar. The vertical line, I'm going to line it up with this wall right here, this beam. So right here, I'm lined up. And then I want to bring my charge bar, the top of it, to the height of this horizontal line. So something like this. And then it's going to be a 1 charge. So that should land right above right here, and it should get even someone walking along this wall. It's pretty generic, easy to do, something I'd recommend doing, here and there. To mix it up, you want to switch it up every once in a while. You come into this corner and use your knuckle right here and line it up to the top left corner of this box. It'll just be 1 charge. This one's pretty good in showing a lot of C lobby and C long, but it doesn't show anyone walking up close to this wall or hugging it, so you could get peeked through that, so just be wary of that. One that I developed, which I feel like kind of solves that issue, is lining up right here, like a dark spot right here. I'm gonna line it up with part of my charge bar, like so, as if I'm sliding it in to my charge bar, top part of my charge bar. I'm gonna slide it all the way until the inner part of the charge bar touches the wall, like so. So I'm gonna slide it across and touch, and it'll be 1 charge and a jump. So this shot should land on the tree branch right here, and it shows you everything down here as well as some of C lobby as well. Alright, up next we have some retake arrows for C on defense. I'm gonna get into this corner for a recon dart, and the spot I'm looking at is the top right of this corner right here. And I'm looking at this corner and I want to line up the top right of my charge bar with it, and then I'm going to move it to the left by 1 to 2 pixels, and it's going to be 1 charge. Should land right on top right here, and it scans pretty much everything. Scans back here, default, this corner, a little bit of hubby right there, and even down here if someone's crazy enough to play there. Just be careful that someone standing here probably wouldn't get seen, but more than likely they'll be up against this wall. Now you could do something similar to change it up. You could be in garage, and I would stand somewhere around this beam right here, and I'm going to be aiming between the midpoint between this square and this dark spot, and I'm going to be trying to follow this y-axis along this y-axis. So generally somewhere around there. It'll be 1 bounce, full charge. So that's going to land on the box right here, and it switches pretty much the same things. The only spot it doesn't really get is right here, and again the same spot right here. So for chalking default plants, let's say they've taken C, you can do a volley simply by lining up your HUD with this corner right here. So like so, I'm touching it, and then it's gonna be 1 charge. The second arrow is gonna be lined up with this right angle right here, and it's gonna be lined up with your charge box HUD. So it's gonna be like this, and it's gonna be a click. So together it'll look something like this. So you should get some easy kills with that. And typically when I'm playing garage, it's pretty easy to rotate to here. If I know they're about to get on C, I'll do those 2 arrows, and then you could even do the recon dart from here as well. So it's a good place to be, really useful for your team. For offensive Sierras, so the recon dart that most people do, I recommend doing as well. It's simple, easy to do, is lining up with this corner of this mountain right here, and I'll do one charge. And it should land in the back of sight, and it really checks pretty much everything you need to know. Right here, here, behind the box, in that corner, and even here. So it's great spots to land and easy to remember. Another way of doing an arrow is coming along into the right side of this frame, into the wall, do one bounce, full charge in the top corner of this roof beam, and just remember to crouch. So this one also lands in a pretty nice spot and checks pretty much everything as well. So between these two, I'll kind of alternate throughout the rounds, just keep it fresh. In terms of post plant, you could do some shock darts here and here. So for the first position, you would get into this corner and you could just left click in the middle of this leaf or even this leaf. It's up to you. It should land right there. For the second one, you get into this corner, you do one bounce full charge, and you aim at this corner right here. So up next, I'm going to show you some arrows I would use while playing in Garage. This is my favorite spot to play as Sova on defense in terms of being able to affect the rest of the map. A lot of your arrows can be shot in this area generally, and I feel like it's really helpful. I'm going to show you several ways to change it up and ways to really abuse playing Garage. So the first arrow I'm going to show you is one that I would spam throughout the course of the game while playing on defense, and it's just to help you spam through the garage doors. So I'm going to line up with this line right here so you can't see that face anymore, and then I'm going to have the word bounce on top of this flag above this gray line right here, and have the letter U encompass this corner right here just past the midpoint. So what does that mean? I'm going to line the word bounce up right here and have a corner in the letter U, basically like this, and then I'm going to do one charge. So done properly, it'll look something like this, and it'll show you pretty much everything here. So it's nice. Here's another way to do an arrow to mid. This one's not going to be as good as the first one, but if they start shooting your first one down, then you want to start switching it up. So I'm going to start first by trying to cover the top portion of this flagpole, and then I also want the outer ring of my arrow to just about meet right here where the arrow is meeting into the wall. So what I mean by that is cover the top portion just barely, and you want your outer ring just to be lined up with where it meets the wall, and that'll be a double charge. So what that looks like, it's gonna land in a pot right there, and it doesn't show you anyone here, but it does show you people going up to the door and anyone close to here. So it's just a different way of doing it. It's not gonna show you everything, but it's fun. Just mix it into your routine, and I'm sure you'll find it useful. Another arrow I like to do is to just get into the wall right here, about where this crack is, so I just run into it. And then where this wire curves like this, the one that's facing down, I'm going to aim at the middle, top of the middle part. So just a little bit up, and it would be two charges. This one's going to land behind people here. It's not going to show you everything again. Show you someone standing here and someone coming out from here basically. It's just a different way. No one's going to expect it to land behind them. So it's just a way to change it up. Additionally, you can always just shoot it straight across at the beginning of the round, just like that, and you can mow down the doors and shoot them as necessary. In terms of offensive arrows I would use to take Garage, first of all, I would break these doors in the beginning round, and then I'll come up to here, just about in line with this right here, and right underneath this. So typically anywhere between the first few strands of A here and here, and you see the smiley face, so you want to be right above it basically. So you want to crouch and double bounce, full charge, aim around here. The place I'm specifically looking at or aiming for is in line with this, and then right above the middle part basically. So something like this should land right here, and it gets about everything in garage and even in window. What it doesn't get is someone standing here. That one's a great arrow that you could take garage with really confidently. You can't really do that consistently or on the fly. You can always do this one through the top right here. Does almost the same thing. Doesn't really get as much coverage in the window, but that's okay. Now let's say you are in garage without using your arrow. Someone flashed you in or something like that. The typical arrow people would do would be shooting like this to wallbang this part. I recommend standing further back like here or down here and using double bounce and full charge and aiming at the base of the left side right here. Something like this. It lands right there and it gives you good coverage information into B as well as here again. And it's ideal to shoot it when you hear someone rotating through here, but then they have to turn around and shoot it, and then you could wall bang them through here while they're preoccupied turning around. In terms of arrows for defensive B, if you happen to play it, you could be around this cable right here, and I'm aiming at this tank thingy. So it's gonna be barely showing. And the place I'm looking at is this right line right here. Yeah, I'm gonna be aiming towards the center of it. Full charge. It's gonna land on top of the roof right here, and it's gonna show you a bit about everything in mid, a little bit of window as well. So another arrow you can do is come into this door frame right here in the middle of it. Do one inbounds, one charge at the top right corner of this clock basically. That should land right on top of this window. You can peek it. It also gives you vision of mid right here. So it's pretty nice. An alternative way to do this, you need a teammate to peek off of this, but you could come into this bench right here and aim at this T section right here, but right above it. So it's be double charge. It's gonna land right on top right here, and it's gonna give you the same vision even in window as well. So if you have someone to peek it for you, that'd be nice. Otherwise, you could stand in the same corner. You could do a shock dart in the beginning round in between these two circles right here. Just be one charge, and it'll land at window right there. Retaking B from garage or C, there are two arrows I would typically use. I would stand in this corner here, and I'm going to shoot a arrow just to the left of this box basically, and there's two areas I'm looking at. So I'm looking at this T section right here and this T section right here. So the first one, I'm going to double bounce full charge for the top one, and that will go into courtyard, and that'll show anyone coming up into B. And then the second one is the lower one, and that's going to shoot into sight, and it'll show you anyone in sight already. So the top one, you could combo that with a wall bang. You want to come into garage here, and you can wall bang them right here. Additionally, you can just wall bang that in general. And specifically, the place you want to aim at is right here on top left side of this metal bell thing. So if you shoot there, you get someone. Alternatively, you could always spray down here. This whole spot right here is wall bangable. So you want to aim towards the center of this beam right here. And the head is generally along this line right here. So that's the head, and this will be the head. And you just spray down this. It's really easy to wall bang. People who usually sneak up here usually stays in this corner, so it's really easy to get some kills through the wall right there. So I recommend just spamming through there throughout the game. Alright guys, for arrows for B offensive, there's not many great ones. I recommend doing a god one, so you get into this corner. And the two places I'm looking at specifically would be this different shaped crack right here compared to the rest of the mountain. And then this part of the roof right here, this line, you're gonna line the left side, farmost left side of your monitor screen up against it. So you're going to do a double bounce, double charge. So you're going to put your charge bar T section right above this general area. You're going to move until you touch the side of the roof of your screen like so. And it's going to be double bounce and double charge. Done properly, it will land on top of the ground right here. It'll give you great vision into B site for the most part. So another arrow to do into B is just generally shooting it straight on right in front, just to clear left and right. But otherwise, you could drone in or flash in. A better one I would say to use would be to check the backup site. So you'd be trying to land your arrow onto this surface right here or this surface right here on this back panel, and you'll be aiming along the height of this line basically. And I'm gonna be shooting somewhere along this line at full charge, something like this. So if it lands on the back right here, it gives you decent view into the back sight. Anyone, you know, coming in or anyone in the back right here. Not anyone hugging against this though. For post-plant shock darts on the offense, I recommend knowing how to shock these 3 positions. The first and the third position, I recommend being in this corner. And the 2 places I'm looking at would be this little crack in the wall versus this textured part versus the smooth part of this wall. I'm going to be aiming in the middle of this. It'll be 1 bounce full charge. That's for the first position. For the third position, I'm going to be aiming at somewhere right here. This T zone right here amongst the 3 darker bricks right here. I'll be aiming right there. It'd be 2 bounces full charge. I'll be landing right there. Shock. The window position, I'll be crouching right here until you're in line with this line right here. It'll be 1 bounce full charge. Now there's 2 vertical lines right here. I'm going to be aiming at the middle where it kind of forms a plus sign. I'll land right there. Alright everyone, thanks for watching this video thus far. This is my first time doing something like this, and I hope it's fairly easy to understand the lineups throughout the video. If you have any positive or negative feedback, definitely comment below. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you want to see more. Follow me on Insta for cooking related content and on Twitch if you want to hang. Don't forget to check out part 2 once I finish editing it. Thanks again and have a nice day.